No? All right.
Only if you give us the injury report tomorrow before 3 o'clock.
I'll think about it.
Is Christian progressing at all? I know he didn't practice per se, but
Yeah, he is. He's feeling better.
what would it take for him to get out there on Sunday?
Well, I would say that he'd have to get some work in tomorrow.
What's been your workload like for them this week?
Yeah, yesterday was jog through. We did some indie. Today we did more indie, and then we had, I don't know, 3 team periods. We had a full speed special teams period, and then we jogged through the back half of practice.
So when you talked yesterday about how you handled it a couple of years ago when the guys played the first half and then you pulled them and it didn't work out great because you lost that first game, was that your way of saying however you do it, you're not going to do it like that, or is there wiggle room there, and how are you thinking that through?
I think we got to go in with the mindset that everybody can expect to play the entire game, and we're going to win, play a football game to win the game, and that's how we always approach it and always will approach it. And some guys could have less snaps than they normally might get, but that is to be determined.
Did they know that previous time the guys who were only playing the first half?
Yeah, that's something that we had planned and talked about.
Devontae Wyatt, obviously in his 3rd season, just what kind of progression have you seen from him through his career?
Yeah, I think he's done a nice job. I think he's been pretty productive, and he's always had the talent, and he's finally putting it together, I'd say, and that's the expectation. You got to continue to push and get better and better and better, and so I'm happy with his play.
Hey, Matt, following up on Pete's question, who cares what the armchair quarterbacks or even us think?
I care immensely about what you think.
You don't, and that's, but you don't think you lost to the 49ers with the #1 seed because you didn't play your guys enough again?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it left a little bit of I'd say, sour taste. I can speak for myself in the situation. Maybe our players didn't feel that way, but, it just not the way you want to go into it. I think that sometimes can be a little overblown, but, you'd like to put your best foot forward. I think every time you go out on the field, no matter who you're playing, what the circumstances are, and you always want to win the game, and you feel like you get a little bit of momentum from that. And but bottom line, win, lose, or draw, you got to get yourself ready to play, and that's for every game in this league. You got to be able to learn from the game and flip the script and get on to the next team.
If you don't play all those injured guys, do you have enough players like
Well,
that?
that's what I was talking about. Yeah, you must not have been here the other day when I was talking about that, Spoon. Okay.
I was going to say, you need to add, do you need to put Jair on IR and add someone to the 53?
Yeah, that's been in discussion for sure. So, that's the luxury. We don't have to do that right at this moment. We can do that later in the week. So, But yeah, that's part of the challenge is I heard what Belichick said about this situation the other day, and I think there's a lot of truth in that as well. You know, how do you pick and choose who you sit, and does that mean certain guys are more important than others? Because I think this is the ultimate team sport, and we need everybody. And certainly, when you have more depth at certain positions, that gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of what route you go. But at the same time, when you got our injury list isn't, I wouldn't say it's a short list. We got a lot of guys on there, and so that definitely limits your ability in terms of what you want to do going into the game.
How has the practice week gone, considering you come off the loss and maybe the playoffs are on the horizon? You're just kind of in between game here.
Yeah, but I still think you can never take anything for granted in this league. Every time you go out, whether it's, and this is something I told our team, is like whether it's practice or the game, there's a standard of performance that you got to hold yourself to and that we have to hold each other to. And there's very few opportunities that are guaranteed left in our season to continue to work and continue to improve. So you can't take it for granted. Every op out there is a chance to get a little bit better and to work on a specific skill, whatever it might be. So you got to maximize those ops. And, you know, I thought the energy today to start was a little not where we wanted it to be, but I thought it's something we recognized, and the guys got going once we got out there.
You got the three Pro Bowlers, obviously. This is the first time for Rashawn. What have you thought of? Kind of, obviously, the numbers are what they are. But what have you thought of this season?
Yeah, I think there was definitely a transition in there in terms of just the whole D line. But I think as the season's progressed, we've gotten better and better and better. And certainly, it's never about one guy. But it's a cool accolade for all those guys that got that honor. And I just think that he's kind of like the guy that sets it up front, I would say, especially on the edge, him and Kenny. And just got to continue to push and try to find ways to get better and better and better.
What does it say that two of the Pro Bowlers are free agent signees from the offseason?
I would say that Goody and his staff did a heck of a job in getting two really good players in here.
Week 18 against the biggest, historically, the biggest rival in the Bears. You haven't lost to the Bears since you've been coach. Yeah, I guess just talk about the importance of continuing that win streak against one of the NFC's North Division opponents.
Yeah, I think this is a good football team. I really do. I think they've had a lot of adversity. Certainly, if you look at the last game we played against them, I mean, it was a finger away from them winning, and they've lost. I want to say it's like 4 or 5 games by a possession, and they've had a lot of heartbreaks. I mean, the Commanders game earlier this season, certainly the Detroit game on Thanksgiving, the Seattle game last week, losing a tough one, 6-3. So I would fully expect them to come in here and play their best ball. And I think they got a lot of talent on that roster. And certainly, like I said, they've just gone through some adverse situations and haven't found a way to win those tight games necessarily. And but I think you can throw all the records out the window when you're talking about the Packers versus the Bears. And I think this is a great rivalry in the National Football League, one of the best in sports. So I think it'll be an exciting environment. Certainly for us, it's our last opportunity in Lambeau, more than likely, for this season. And so I expect us to go out there and play our best.
And Matt, I said armchair quarterbacking a minute ago. Jordan admitted that it was not his best game, obviously, on Sunday in Minneapolis. It is preposterous to suggest that he's now not taking enough chances, right? Like that, if that's the way people are viewing how he's playing, where he's avoiding mistakes and not taking as many chances, that is, would you agree that that's ridiculous?
Absolutely.
So how do you view, I mean, he has avoided interceptions, he's taken checkdowns, he's made some wild throws, maybe not quite as frequently. How do you view how he has played in the second half? Because at one point you did say that you thought he was playing his best ball.
Yeah, but I never think it's just on the quarterback. I mean, it's all 11 out there, and you know, we just in regards to last week, and I think a lot of people are certainly hanging on that because it's disappointing when I don't care who you're playing, when you go out and you don't feel like you've played your cleanest game and you're making some, I would say, uncharacteristic mistakes, but that's the collective. And I mean, I put the most blame on myself. It's just you expect in those games to go out and play your best, and when you don't, it's disappointing. It's disappointing for everybody. But I think he's doing a great job, and we had some opportunities in that game where, you know, I mean, shoot, he missed a go ball just by inches to Rome, and he's doing his job. And I would say just some teams are going to be easier to take shots down the field than others. And it all depends on the coverage contour. So every play is a little bit different. So you got to look, you actually got to study the tape. You can't go all by numbers. I think, yeah, that might tell you something, but it doesn't tell you the whole story. You got to study the tape. And when there's opportunities to throw it down the field, and if we don't take those ops, then I'd say, yeah, he made a mistake there. But I didn't really see that in that game.
That's good.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.